irregular present verb conjugation in Portuguese doesn't follow one fixed pattern. Instead, irregular verbs have their own special conjugations, which means that they must be memorized. In my previous video, I explained regular Portuguese verb conjugation in the present, showing stems and their endings. In this video, I'll explain irregular present verb conjugation. The good news is that Portuguese has about 15 truly irregular verbs in the present tense. While regular verbs follow common endings, irregular ones often have stem changes, while others change the whole verb. In this lesson, it's good to focus on the most common irregular verbs because they can help you understand a big portion of everyday Portuguese. Such verbs include ter, vir, ir, fazer, poder, querer, dar, dizer, caber, crer, ler, ouvir, pedir, pôr, trazer, ver. Let's see each verb, starting with ter, to have. Tenho, tens, tem, temos, tem. Here, we can see a few changes, like the letter combination in eu, consonant endings, and accents. Tem with no accent means he, she has, but with an accent, it means they have. A similar verb is vir, to come. Venho, vens, vem, vimos, vem. Just like ter, vir follows the same written rules. Now, let's see the verb ir, to go. Vou, vais, vai, vamos, vão. Here, every conjugation is different, so the verb must be memorized. Another verb is fazer, to do or make. Faço, fazes, faz, fazemos, fazem. The conjugation in eu has a cedilla to force the sound of s before o. Also, faz doesn't have a vowel in the end, so these pronouns are the only ones that have irregular conjugations. A different verb is poder, can or to be able to. Posso, podes, pode, podemos, podem. The only irregular word here is posso, meaning I can. As a note, the word poder can mean power or might, but as a verb, it means can. A different verb is querer, to want. Quero, queres, quer, queremos, querem. The only irregular word here is quer, which doesn't have a vowel in the end. Another verb is dar, to give. Dou, das, dá, demos, deu. The irregularity here is the ending in eu, the accents on tu and ele, ela, and the tilde on eles, elas. A different verb is dizer, to say or tell. Digo, dizes, diz, dizemos, dizem. The only unusual words here are digo and diz. Digo has an irregular stem change, while diz doesn't have a vowel in the end. Another verb is caber, to fit. Caibo, cabes, cabe, cabemos, cabem. The only unusual word here is caibo, which gains an extra letter in eu. A different verb is crer, meaning to believe, but this verb is a little formal. In daily speech, the verb acreditar is more common. Creio, cres, cre, cremos, creem. Here, creio gains an extra letter, and most conjugations receive a circumflex accent. A similar verb is ler, to read. Leio, les, le, lemos, lem. Leio gains an extra letter, and some conjugations also receive a circumflex accent. A different verb is ouvir, to hear. Ouço, ouves, ouve, ouvimos, ouvem. The only unusual word here is ouço, having a cedilla to force the sound of s before o. A similar verb is pedir, to ask for. Peço, pedes, pede, pedimos, pedem. Again, the only unusual word is peço. A different verb is por, to put, with a circumflex accent. Ponho, pões, põe, pomos, poem. Here, most conjugations are irregular, following a letter combination and a tilde. Another verb is trazer, to bring. Trago, trazes, traz, trazemos, trazem. Trago has an irregular stem change, while traz doesn't have a vowel in the end. Another verb is ver, to see. Vejo, ves, ve, vemos, veem. Vejo has an irregular stem change, and most conjugations receive a circumflex accent. Before finishing this lesson, two important verbs remain in the language that I didn't show, which are irregular, and they both mean to be. Ser, estar. The reason I didn't show these verbs is that they require specific explanations in their own topic, which I will do in the next video. So, considering the verbs that we did see, it's possible to conclude that many of them are irregular in the eu form. Once you know this form, the remaining forms are quite simple, and this is not a rule that applies to every verb, but it's a useful pattern to recognize. Once you've learned the core verbs, you'll discover that many other verbs feel very similar, which will allow you to speak the language with more confidence. At last, let's see some sentences using some of the verbs that we just saw. Eu tenho carro. Eu vou à escola. Eu faço café. Podemos sair. Eles querem café. Eles vêm amanhã. Eu digo a verdade. Eles creem nisso. Ela lê jornais. Eu ouço música. Nós pedimos comida. Eu ponho o livro na mesa. Eles trazem presentes. Nós vemos filme. Overall, that's how irregular verbs work in the present tense in Portuguese.